Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for a massive Chelsea Champions League preview. Chelsea versus Benfica, the return of the special one for the first time to Stamford Bridge, where he's managing a team where we don't really have any hatred towards Benfica the way that we might animosity towards a Manchester United. When Mourinho was there, when he managed Tottenham, bloody hell did I dislike him for a little while. But we know how he feels about that, and we know how Mourinho feels about Chelsea. Obviously, the pre-match narrative, the narrative tomorrow, maybe even the post-match narrative too, will be heavily focused on Jose Mourinho's return to Chelsea, the return of the special one. In my opinion, my favourite ever person, maybe in football, next to Frank Lampard, but without question, my favourite Chelsea manager. Thomas Tuchel was there for a little while, but when I pensively think about football, when I think about my life in football, the impact that Mourinho had was absolutely massive. And the fact that he's coming back to the Bridge tomorrow, when Chelsea are in this little moment right now where defending is an absolute disaster, and we could only dream of the 14-goal conceding, the record that will never be broken, Jose Mourinho defense from 20 years ago. It's actually scary to think what happened 20 years ago. Not only will it never be broken by any club in the Premier League moving forward, but when you look at where we are now, it's obviously very unfair to compare the team that won the league in 2005 to this team now, but how we would absolutely love to be able to have that solidity, to be able to just trust on your keeper, your centre-backs, and everyone defensively week in, week out, the way that we used to do. Now, Mourinho coming back to Stamford Bridge, this feels as though it could kind of overwrite the occasion tomorrow. It could be the focal point. Enzo Maresca left Stamford Bridge on Saturday after that defeat to Brighton. There's murmurs of discontent amongst the Chelsea fan base. Those that were left in the stadium at the very end of the game, obviously disappointed, infuriated with the performance that we saw on the pitch. And then you've got Mourinho, as I said at the start, finally coming back to Stamford Bridge, not playing for a massive rival or a team that we despise, that we hate, like Tottenham Hotspur or Manchester United. He's coming with Benfica. And the concern here is new manager bounce. Obviously, when Benfica played in the Champions League, we were beaten by Bayern Munich. They were beaten at home to bloody Karabag, who we beat 6-0 in this competition a few years ago. They went to Benfica and beat them 3-2. Bruno Lage gets fired. Jose Mourinho comes in. And even for Mourinho, this is the epitome of what 4D chess from a footballing perspective is. He is Fenerbahce manager, gets knocked out in the qualification round by Benfica. Jose's still on the main stage. And look, Enzo Maresca is going to have to deal with this tomorrow. He's the Chelsea manager. He's just won 2 trophies a couple of months ago, but he's probably going to be, and I might be wrong here, but I think he might be the least supported manager in the stadium from a Chelsea perspective, because I think fans right now have rightly got massive questions to ask about him. And look, I made the video yesterday. Eunice and I are posting tonight on Shootout, talking about Maresca, talking about Chelsea. Check the link to Shootout in the description. I like Maresca. I really do. But obviously, in the bigger picture, nothing will compare to Jose Mourinho. And right now, this couldn't be a worse time, personally, for Enzo Maresca to be in the Chelsea dugout with Mourinho coming the other way. Because as much as Mourinho might right now not have the same impact potentially as he did 20 years ago. He's gone to Fenerbahce, he's been to Roma, no disrespect to those clubs, but he was never going to win the Champions League with those the way he did at, not Chelsea, I wish, at Porto and Inter Milan all of those years ago. Football's changed. Jose's changed. Maybe he's not quite got that same, or maybe he does. This is why this is a massive, massive game for Chelsea to manage the occasion. Now, obviously, I'm going to talk about Mourinho some more because I genuinely think that is a huge part of the narrative that we're going into this game with. This is what Mourinho has said. And again, it's just classic Jose. Abramovich's Chelsea, my Chelsea, the Chelsea we built and lasted for many years was a winning club. it was winning everything with me. And then with Carlo Ancelotti, with Antonio Conte, and with Thomas Tuchel, Chelsea was a winning machine. Every season, Chelsea was winning. He's not lying. Jose Mourinho on Chelsea post Abramovich. Then there was a big change with crazy investment and a period of a few years where it looked like they lost direction. With too many players, too many millions, accumulation of players, and a team without a clear philosophy. For a couple of years, it was hard. For ones that loved the club, it was hard. And it is proving as though it might still be hard. Jose Mourinho's words have never sounded and rung more true. Right now at Chelsea, yes, maybe there is a bit more of an on-field philosophy, but is everyone really behind it? Can we really see progressions with it as of right now? It's very difficult to see that. And look, Jose Mourinho epitomizes everything that Chelsea were, and now we're trying to craft a new pathway. And to be fair, we can only dream of the Roman Abramovich days where it was brutal and there were question marks all of the time about, was it the right thing to sack this guy? Should Chelsea be doing business this way, that way? Now, I would just love for a little bit of that grit, that determination, that digging deep ability that Chelsea of old had. And that is what we need right now. We need to channel what being Chelsea means. Hearing the Champions League music at Stamford Bridge should be enough to set the hairs on your arms, on your neck, spine tingling, on their ends. This is what we need to feel tomorrow. And as a result of that, that needs to transcend what we're doing with the ball and without the ball. Because you know it, I know it, Jose Mourinho, if anybody knows right now how to hurt Chelsea, Mourinho will do it time and time again. Benfica lost to Karabag in match week number 1. They've got 5 wins, I think, 2 draws and no defeats in their first 7 games in Portugal, which obviously, as we know, Portuguese League, Premier League, different caliber, different gravy, different kettle of fish, mate. But still, Benfica are always a tricky opposition. We saw that in the Club World Cup. If it wasn't for the flipping lightning storm and extra time, and Chelsea dismantled Benfica in extra time, but I don't think we've got the squad right now, do we? And I think we've got to focus on the football a little bit here because we are in trouble for this game. Big, big trouble. Obviously, we've got no Liam Delap, got no Colwill, got no Cole Palmer. The list goes on and on. But as of today, we have heard that we might not have Caicedo, Andre Santos, and João Pedro, which is why, if these guys are even remotely close to not being available, I'm sacrificing this game over Liverpool, which might be the wrong decision. But again, more so than anything else right now, we cannot lose more key players for long periods of time. If João Pedro isn't fully fit, Moises Caicedo in particular, if that guy is not fully fit, do not risk him for this game against Benfica. And look, yes, Chelsea might have a botched job team right now. I'm about to build the lineup in a moment. And it is kind of scary because right now, we need a bit of luck maybe. Or maybe this isn't about luck. This is about the Club World Cup. And the fact that the players are just going to keep getting injured, aren't they? But bloody hell do we need something. And if there is a chance that it's just rest that they need, rest them against Benfica, please. Because Liverpool at the Bridge at the weekend, these 2 games could define Maresca's Chelsea career. And I say that because I think the pressure will just build and build and build. And I don't know if this squad have actually got it in them to be able to keep turning it around. We saw it last season. We went on a great run. But at the moment, it just feels as though with Maresca's decisions on the field, with all of the injuries to boot, will we have enough to turn this around? So we cannot make it any worse for ourselves. That's where I'm going to leave it when it comes to the team selection. So we begin with Robert Sanchez in goal for this game. It's a non-discussion really, isn't it? Because Philip Jorgensen leaves our players concussed. And with Robert Sanchez, we hope for the best. And I will say this about Sanchez, right? If anyone kept their head screwed on in that Brighton game, it was him. Because when you saw Badiashile and his just stupid, erratic behaviour towards the end of the game. Sanchez, the first one to grab him, say, no, don't do that. Don't get involved with this. What are you doing? So, I mean, I'm trying to pick some positives here. So I'm not just constantly complaining. That is a positive thing. Let's move into this back line. Achampong, Chalobah, Badiashile, Cucurella. I am not going to lie. This is very difficult. This is really, really difficult because when you see who I've got in midfield, if we've got no Moises Caicedo, you'll understand because this is what I think the midfield should be. But let's talk about this as a whole right now because Josh Achampong is clearly not as favoured as other players in this Chelsea team. It's as simple as that. Hato started the game against Brighton. I don't think Hato did a bad job, but Josh came on and did not really impress. But as a right back, I think he really could. Now, Malo Gusto, I think, needs a break out of the team. That was beyond a poor performance the other night. I was not impressed with him either against Lincoln. And I think right now, I'm obviously hoping that we can see the Malo Gusto that we saw in the Club World Cup. He was excellent in some of those games. And listen, maybe in knockout football, European football, this is where Chelsea might be able to turn it on a little bit more than the intensity every single week in, week out in the Premier League. So this is what I'd like to see. Chalobah's obviously suspended for Liverpool at the weekend, so he's got to play. Badiashile, just purely for the height in there. If Benfica are trying to spam the cross button because they know that Chelsea can't deal with it. Badiashile's a huge guy. If you've seen the flipping club photo for the squad team picture for the year, this geezer's about as wide as four of the players. He's absolutely massive. So we've got to use that. Enzo Fernandez, obviously right now, if there's no Santos, there's no Asugo, if Caicedo isn't fit, Enzo's got to play. I would say Lavia, but is Lavia even registered for this? I don't think he is he? But if Lavia is fit and is available, then maybe Lavia can get minutes, but he looked completely off the other day too. And I think as much as I don't want to throw this game, because we've got Liverpool at the weekend, James and Enzo, I do think there is balance in there. You're never going to see me on a regular basis picking Reece James in midfield because I would just rather him not be there. But I do think Josh can step in with this lineup. You could also see Cucurella step in as well with Achampong then moving to the right centre-back with Trev in the central position, Badiashile left centre-back. None of this is optimal, by the way. None of this is what I would prefer it to be. But right now, we might just have to make do with what we've got. Let's move into the Chelsea attack then, shall we? I've gone with this. I just can't put Tyreek George as a striker. So it's got to be Garnacho. If João Pedro's not fit, yes, we've got Mark Guiu, but the guy hasn't even featured for Chelsea since he's joined back. So he's got no match fitness to start a match of this magnitude in the Champions League. Play Garnacho through the middle. Buonanotte will be there. Esteval on the right, I think he's got to play because he's one of the only players right now looking capable of making something happen. And I think with Reece in that position that he's in on the screen, I think it gives Esteval a little bit more support. We can get Reece a little bit more advanced as well with his deliveries and whatnot. Obviously, when you look at this, we're not going to be winning any aerials in the box. So I think the intricate footwork of a Buonanotte and an Esteval will be key. Neto obviously is a runner in that team as well. And I think this front four would have to be flexible as the microphone decides it wants to have a little wonder. These guys have got to be flexible in terms of moving different positions and whatnot. Enzo Fernandez will obviously join the attack. Maybe Cucurella can as well. But look, this is Jose Mourinho. We've got to bring it back. And obviously it dominated the start of this video. But Mourinho will come to Chelsea and try to frustrate us. As much as he knows, because he loves this football club. You know it, I know it, we all know it. Chelsea are his club. For that 90 minutes and injury time and everything else, it is all about winning for Jose Mourinho. So he is going to come and try and frustrate us. And look, Benfica did that in the Club World Cup and they did very well until extra time. And then obviously Chelsea stormed ahead and we did very well. This is the lineup that I'm going to go with. I'm still really nervous even looking at this right now because look, João Pedro isn't necessarily an out-and-out striker. He'd be much better off in the 10, but if he's not fit, I'm not risking it. Caicedo, I'm absolutely not risking it. If there's any worry whatsoever, then he can't play. With Liverpool coming up at the weekend, like if we don't have Caicedo and Pedro, as well as no flipping Cole Palmer, which obviously we're not going to have him, like, blimey, should we even bother? And I'm sorry that it's so negative. I'm sorry that I've got nothing better to say right now. I need Chelsea to prove us wrong here. And I really believe we can. I just don't think we're going to do it in this game with all of the worries about fitness right now. I just wonder, are we going to be able to see a strong enough side to get the result? And my score prediction, right? I'm just going to go for it. 3-1 Chelsea. We're actually going to turn up. Garnacho is going to put in the shift of his Chelsea career so far. And Esteval's going to score a Champions League goal. 2 for Garnacho and 1 for Esteval Willian. This is pure blind faith. I'm sorry. I can't... I'm hoping at this point. I'm really, really hoping. There's still so many good players out there on the field. There really is. But with the defensive woes and worries right now and the fact it's Jose, I'm sorry, I'm not entirely confident. I'm really not. But watch along will be there tomorrow on Shootout. So make sure you tune in for that one. I know that a lot of people right now are saying, end the channel. You guys are cursing it. I mean, if you genuinely think it's got anything to do with being Eunice, I'd have a serious look in the mirror. Just to be sure everything's okay. Just saying. But obviously it doesn't look good for us, does it, at the minute? We've not had a win in any of the Chelsea streams apart from Lincoln. And even that was ever so slightly concerning, wasn't it? But we've got to try our best here against Benfica and Liverpool. Otherwise, this international break, so many questions will be asked. Enzo Maresca right now has got the full backing. The reports and the briefs at the moment are that Maresca will be judged at the end of the season again. Now, my thoughts on this are, well, maybe the top 4 was the Chelsea target for this season. I personally think we should have been going to try and look to win the league this year, or at least compete for it. Not win it maybe, but compete for it. I want to win it, but we should be at least looking to compete. If the target is the top 4, if that becomes near impossible to do, then surely Maresca's job will become in question. But we lost to Bayern. We've got to try and bounce back here by beating Benfica. I'm saying 3-1. Just a hopeful prediction. 2 for Garnacho, 1 for Esteval. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Come on, you Blues.